before I do that, right? Okay. I mean, it's gonna look like that. I mean, I've seen people do their IG live sideways, but I mean, let's just try it like this, and we'll figure it out.
Wow. Check. Mic check for me, Jada.
Okay. Mic check. Jada.
Check.
Mic check.
One take mic check for me, sir.
What's going on with
What's
you?
up? How you doing? What's up?
Mic check.
Keep going.
Mic check. Check. 1, 2, 3.
Check.
Are you gonna have? What time is it?
Tipping board. I need you to.
03/1999. 1998.
19. Why is that? There we go. Okay.
Are you using this? Oh yeah, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna put it in more time.
Oh yeah, because that needs to go in. Oh, you want me to pull that for you? You're fine. Okay. Here you go.
Check it underneath that cord.
Oh, under.
That's gonna be on.
That one, yeah. Ooh.
All right, well so we only need one music thing.
Since we're going in.
My nigga, this
Yeah.
is dedication. This is anti-hesitation. It's a real celebration. It's a non-blind declaration. Tonight the fifth that granny house with vanilla wafers. This is real. Look, my nigga, this is dedication.
What's the first topic?
The bill.
Oh, it's the name.
And you can't play the music in the YouTube.
So are you the only one that's playing the name?
No, everybody is. I'm just introducing what we're talking about. Look, I'm not the only one doing the whole thing in none of these. It's just that we're literally like this is gonna be like a
108.9.
what 3 minutes,
And
then like I'm 2.
no, this is
Because I don't really have too much.
Yeah, I'm a look. Whenever y'all start talking, that's the thing. Like y'all gotta like cut it off because whenever y'all stop talking, that's when I'm gonna go into the next one. So like whenever it feels dry, just stop. Like don't try to add nothing onto it because I'm gonna feel it and I'm just gonna go into the next one. So
okay. And what's the second one?
Nipsey, and then gun control, then how they took Old Town Road off of billboards, and then comedians, then the body camera
of what they said.
What?
Because it doesn't fit with the ideals of.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that,
Okay.
which is why I probably won't be on IG Live, just because I'm gonna have to go back and forth in between so much stuff. I just won't do it.
I used to go out this table for it. I used to go out this table back here. Old Town Road.
The comedians, and then the body camera footage, and then Georgia outlawing abortions. And also with that Georgia outlawing abortions thing, I didn't realize that what they were doing when they were pretty much implementing, that is the most strictest abortion law that is in America. So like that is, Georgia will now have one of the most strict abortion laws. So that is going to be huge. But yeah, and I also put the articles down at the bottom of it if y'all want to get those there, because that's really where I'm coming from, is with the articles that are at the bottom of the notes. That's pretty much where I'm introducing all of them from. And yeah.
All right. You could go ahead and probably go live now.
Okay, want me to go live for you?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's just see who we can get up here.
Yeah, so y'all want the microphone to pick you up, great. Speak directly to the microphone.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Away from it, shy away from it, left or right, straight up into that thing.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
We are live. Well, let's see. I really want to know if I should probably go live online, but I don't know.
You don't want to do it early, I want to start right at 11.
We're going to start right at 11. Oh, we're going to start right at 11. So, Thomas, you got comments. People joining. Woo, woo, woo. I feel like I really should. I'm going to see. Hold on.
Who all joined so far?
Okay, we have T-Baz Music and that's Sav.
Okay,
and that Sav said, my boy. We're gonna wait. Yeah. And we're gonna get this going. What time are we at?
All right, so the intro, I'm only gonna play the music for 30 seconds, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you can just do the intro however it flows.
And I'm still waiting for the drop. Gotcha.
Here we go. We in the Vill.
The Vill.
We in the Vill.
The Vill. Okay, hold on.
We in the Vill, everybody. All right, let's see that.
My nigga, this is
Good morning, beautiful
anti-hesitation.
people. This is Jada, and we are here with the Vill. I'm here with my co-hosts, Thomas, Ali, and Tay, and we are here to give you the real, dish out all the details, and give you some really good topics. So, to start off our talk, we will be talking about our name. Let's give them why we created the Vill, why we decided to really come out with something to tell you guys why we need to start the conversation. So, why we start the Vill?
Go ahead, talk about my boy.
Well, all right. It really was generic, man. One day we was really just sitting down, just talking, having a generic conversation, just about academia, Black excellence, and how Atlanta really is the village as far as Black history here in Atlanta with Black intellects. And so we thought this would be a perfect time to, be that vanguard, be that village where we actually put in that information out to you and network other intellects that's in the Black diaspora in Atlanta. So that's why we named it the Vill.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, so pretty much we just really wanted to just start the conversation and get you guys really to join in with us when it comes down to having these important conversations and just really get the young mindset, the young perspective on the different topics. So to move on, Nipsey Hussle. Now this tragedy, rest in peace. This is a huge tragedy, and although this is something that is horrible and really sad to all of us, I think that we all need to remember the blueprint that he left. I think that we really need to focus on that. What do you guys think about what exactly happened and how it went down, and really the blueprint that he left?
I mean, first off, I still can't believe it, right? I literally discovered Nipsey Hussle by accident, right? So I'll take you back to like 2007, right? I'm working at Kroger, Union City, Jonesboro Road. I was when you work at Kroger's, they got like this little thing where they call it like put backs. You put the stuff back, but I wasn't doing my job. I'll go back to the magazine aisle, and I'll be back there reading Double Source magazine. And I ended up finding him in like Unsigned Hype, and ever since then, I just started. But then when I moved to California, I discovered like the marathon, and it helped me get through so much stuff. But I mean, I think it's sad, unbelievable. More so than like you were saying, focusing on the tragedy of his death. I think we should focus on his blueprint that he left, the whole concept of what the TMC meant, the marathon continues, you know what I mean? So he was talking about ownership. He's talking about investing your money. He's talking about going to your communities and rebuilding infrastructure. And in a sense, what he's talking about, that TMC, that Black excellence, is kind of what we're doing today, where we're taking our own brand, our own company, and marketing ourselves out here today. That's exactly what Nick would want to see.
Yeah, I got on the Nipsey kind of late, unfortunately. It probably was about like 2.5 months ago. I was watching some documentary or something, and Ice Cube was talking about Nipsey selling his mixtapes for $100 a piece. So I kind of knew who he was, but right there trigger. Like for me to listen to your music, it got to be something that pop for me. I'm not just gonna listen to everybody's music because a lot of times I feel like it's all sound the same. But when I heard that, I'm like, wow, like that's marketing, that's business, that's smart right there. I was like, maybe that's somebody I need to listen to, and so that's when I went and listened to Victory Lap, and I was just like, wow, like I was like, he really spitting some real stuff. Looking at his interviews and like just all the stuff that he was putting into place, all the stuff he was putting in people's minds. So it's bittersweet because we lost somebody very dear to our culture. But he, like, in the wake of this, it also opened the eyes to so many people on different things, such as Dr. CB, the different things he was doing in the community, his investing, what he was saying as far as investing in assets and liabilities and all of that. It's putting a lot more people on. So it is very bittersweet right now. So I got a question for y'all. Do y'all actually feel like more artists and more people who have power, of that type of power, will they start coming forward and actually trying to put in the work and doing whatever they got to do to make the community better? Or do you feel like it's going to fall off now since he got killed for what he was trying to do?
I think the people that's been doing it is going to continue to do it, and the people that was not doing what they were supposed to do, they're just not going to do.
Yeah.
People are trendy, bro. Like, not trying to be funny. Everybody's going to be talking about entrepreneurship for the next 2-3 months. And then once, something else tragic happens, it's sad to say, but we're going to move on to another topic. You know what I'm saying? Right. But for those people who do represent that, I think that's what we need to focus on, like them STEM programs and stuff that he was talking. The people that's going to work are going to work. And that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, so I really just feel like we just need to really just focus on really what he loved and trying to develop that, because I think that what he really wanted was, how they were saying like in the news, how he was really about to go meet with the police officer to really have a conversation about how to reduce the amount of violence that's in the gangs and that's happening in the neighborhoods. And I think that is really important, and that's what we really need to strive to be doing, is how to make our communities better in the same way that Nipsey Hussle was doing.
Yeah.
So to move on, gun control. I think this is a really good topic to talk about, because what exactly is gun control and how are we defining it today? And where do you see us headed in the next few years in America with gun control?
Well, I'm going to say my idea of gun control is extremely different than it was, say, a year ago or 2 years ago. I feel like I had this unrealistic idea of let's just get rid of guns, and I didn't realize how ingrained it is into the country. The gun's not going nowhere. That's the fact of the matter. It's literally the Second Amendment. It's our Second Amendment, right? The right to bear arms. Like it's ingrained in our Constitution, and those are things that you can't change. So I'm like, rather than living in this utopic world where I say, hey, we get rid of guns, I say we be smart with guns. We educate ourselves, because even if you look back onto like big movements like the Black Panther Party and what Malcolm X was teaching, and like they all taught be smart. Have your guns, know how to use them. So I think moving more towards that of knowing how to use a gun, making sure if I'm in a situation where I have to use it, I know what to do. So I'm not at a point of, before I was just like, get rid of all the guns. But now I'm just like, let's just be conscious of how we move it. And if we're going to have one, know how to use it.
So 20 years from now, do you see everybody walking around with guns, carrying guns?
I definitely
like that's where it's headed.
A major increase.
Major increase.
Like, I'm to be anybody that know me, everybody knows I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm very Second Amendment. I think the problem is when we look at history, right? Black people have really, really been free for, like, in this country about 54 years. So if we take out the regular slavery, we take out Jim Crow. And so because of certain laws in this country, we haven't had a big gun culture that's being popularized, right? But if we look into history, like you were saying with the Black Panther Party and all of this, that they exercise these type of rights. We need to create a culture in the community where we are arming ourselves. Black people need to learn how to arm themselves. And I think we need to be very careful when we're talking about gun control, when we're talking about mental illness and these type of things, because it's no secret that we get diagnosed the most with fake certain things. So I don't
Yeah.
want this to bite us in the ass in the future to where we need to defend ourselves and it's set up in a way with the laws to prevent my people from getting armed. We need guns.
I feel like regardless though, it's always gonna be a balance. There's always gonna be a couple of people who feel we have guns. There's always gonna be a couple of people like I don't want a gun in my house.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Although it is, I do think that you have to also think about the aspect of the guns are getting into the wrong people's hands, and you have to understand that it's really ridiculous that it's easier to go get your gun license than it is to go get a driver's license, and that to me says a lot. Like that really says the fact that it's really easy for anybody to go out and go get a gun, and that's not okay because it's getting into kids' hands, it's getting into people who have mental issues hands, and they're killing individuals that is pretty much mass shootings. And that is what my problem is. I think there needs to be a different way that they're going through with individuals getting their gun license. It needs to be more rigorous. It needs to be more strict. It needs to be something to be able to at least get the guns out of wrong people's hands.
But the only thing with that, with making it more strict, when they start to make strict the laws, they tend to skew it towards certain people. So I say make it hard to get the semi-automatics and stuff like that. That need in the everyday. You're not hunting deer with a semi-automatic. I'm sorry, I don't believe you. Like with stuff like that.
To anyway.
So like stuff like that, I think it should definitely be way more stricter laws. With the handguns, maybe they could add something to it, but I definitely feel like I'm scared of whenever they start implementing laws and stricter laws, it get a little skewed sometimes. And also another point I want to say of like you was bringing up kids, I think it's very important for us to teach our kids about guns. Like my mom was a police officer when I was in the 5th grade, and she sat down with us. She was like, hey, it's gonna be a gun in the house. She sat down, she broke the gun down on the table, had us touch it, had us feel it. She was like, never touch it again.
So what?
At that age, that got I was in the 5th grade. I was in the 5th grade.
I think that's
even my little brother. I'm the oldest, so my brothers were younger than me. But we all felt the gun. We felt the different parts.
Yeah.
She let us hold it. She didn't have the whole thing together, but she was like, "Hey, this is how it feels. Don't be curious about this no more. Don't touch it ever again." And we did.
I'm a vet, right? So I definitely know the importance of doing proper training. Handling your weapon, clearing your weapon, things of this nature. Like you were saying, I don't think we need to ban semi-automatic weapons because at the end of the day, I think you need to have just as much as what other people else have to defend yourself. However, when we do get to those higher levels of, let's say you are buying an AR-15 or you're buying, a semi-automatic weapon, I think there needs to be maybe a month or 2 month class because I know regular soldiers who were non-combat. The military only gives you 2 weeks of basic rifle training. That's it. Unless you're combat, you're not breaking down no weapon systems. You're not getting in depth into a science. Let's just be the real. You know what I mean? As a scout, I literally broke down every weapon system, and that takes weeks and months. So it should be no reason I could just go in the store 30 minutes later and have a gun and ammo. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy. And I look at it as, but like you said, I think in the future we are going to more carry, and I think it's a deterrent. Because like I was telling y'all the other day, I ain't never seen a mass shooting in the gun range.
Yeah.
But see, I don't know, because sometimes I feel like it's a deterrent if everybody had a gun on them, but also I feel like it just gives somebody else another reason to rob you.
I'm gonna rob you when everybody got a gun.
If I got a gun on me and I'm used to robbing people and I just want to rob you, and that's just what I do. We talk about mental.
You'll think twice about
it. I guarantee you, if everybody got a gun on them, you're not gonna rob as many people as you would.
Not as many.
And you're not gonna get away with it that long.
At about the second or third,
I don't feel like that'll fix crime either, though. I don't feel like that'll fix crime either.
I feel like it'll mitigate it.
Yeah. Like think about this. Like think about this. I even like two reasons I think black men, especially black men, should get it, because instead of like a lot of the times in our culture we teach to get guns at an early age and stuff like that. We don't have no proper training, and what happens is carrying, we end up catching a felony and something, and that screws us. When we could properly learn how to do it at 18, get a rifle, learn how to shoot it, and then at 21 do it legally. If more black men had more guns too and open carry, I think people think twice about shooting us openly more too.
Yeah.
So when we get back, we will be talking about Old Town Road, comedians, and a recent police shooting. You are listening to The Vill on Power 108.9.
that's
Thank
where
you.
the notes came from. I already read that. I got it in my library. My favorite author, matter of fact, I have it in here, who originally got me into learning about the Vanguard is actually my favorite book, is George Jackson, Blood in My Eye and Soledad Brothers. That's what the whole Black Guerrilla Family originally concept comes from. It came from the Black Vanguard. Yeah, antique shops. Yeah, in the South, you don't. In California, I bought a pistol 2 weeks. Well, you register and they give you a 2 weeks before you can pick it up. Yeah, that's a fact. Sorry, y'all. Have a good day. Appreciate it.
So am I going back into? Yeah. Okay. So we're going back to transition. Okay, that's fine. I'm good. I got you. Give me 1 second, okay? Oh, you don't? I'm sorry.
Last time that I checked, it was 5 chains on my neck. It was no smut on my rep. Last time that I checked, I was selling zones in the set. Make a $250,000, no sweat.
Alrighty, we are
From the streets,
back
voice out
with
west,
the
legendary
Vill,
silhouette.
and I got a really good topic for you guys. So it's an Atlanta rapper called Lil Nas X, and he's released a country song. This song went off and it hit the billboards, and the billboards decided to take it down, and they banned the song from the country chart. This is what they said their reasoning was, though. They said that it does not embrace enough elements of today's country music to chart in its current version.
And what the hell does that mean?
You know what? You know what's crazy, man.
No, let's just say it's not white enough, because let's not be.
Okay.
I've seen country white artists
Mhm.
make rap songs. Let's be real, they're rap
Mhm.
songs with
You're
a little
right.
country beat and say that is country and everybody's okay with it.
You know what's
Nelly
crazy?
Nelly did it with a country artist back in the
Right.
early 2000s.
They pick and choose who they want. He doesn't
Yeah,
have the
right.
image
Yeah.
of a country, and they're
But
scared.
I feel like they're really just mad because we don't went into rock and roll. We took that over. Lil Uzi. We got so many people that can go into all these different genres. We take over
we are
everything,
the culture,
man. Yeah, we the
bro.
culture. Exactly.
Literally, we are the culture.
It's like now y'all finna come into country music. I don't think so.
And if you really think about it, it's really how, if you go listen to that song and you listen to other country music songs, like that song
That's what
is
it
at a
sounds
whole
lit,
different
bro.
level.
I was late.
It
on
just got a
bass.
I wouldn't listen to
Yeah,
it. I ain't gonna hold you. It vibe. I ain't gonna ride to
He
it.
got
Yeah.
Ray on it.
I will. I'm riding.
He got Hannah Montana Daddy on there.
Yeah, Billy Ray Cyrus. Yeah,
Yeah.
that remix was fire.
And then I think that it was also cool how Billy Ray Cyrus went in and said,
Yeah,
okay,
I
you know, I'm
definitely
gonna do
respect
this
that.
song with you. So let's now see what Billboard's gonna say about this. So now that we have Billy Ray Cyrus on this, let's see what they're gonna
No,
let's see if
still
they're
not
gonna take it
fuck
down
with
now.
but
In y'all opinion, y'all think they still gonna mess with it?
I don't think
I
they're
think
gonna
it's
mess
gonna
with it.
get a little more. It gave him another boost, which I think was I do appreciate that. But I don't think they still not gonna put it back on.
Nah,
They're not gonna put it back on. Yeah.
And it's also interesting because I was reading on social media and they were actually saying that, do you think that we can you call this cultural appropriation?
No.
No.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because like I said, okay, so what does pop mean? Pop is short for what? Popular category.
Mhm.
Who are the most popular people in this world? Black Americans. No, I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
I've traveled, I've been to different countries, I've been in places. If you go on the internet, look at K-pop. K-pop is the biggest sensation on the internet. Where do they anything that is copying most culture is technically cultural appropriation of our culture. You're welcome, world.
Yeah, basically.
You're welcome.
Yeah, when and even in other countries, like when I did my little study abroad over the summer, like I talked to some students at colleges and stuff, and they were like, so y'all not the majority over there. They really think that
Mhm.
black people are like the most populated
And I
people
bet
in
you they
America
knew
because that's
rappers
what they
and
see.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they watch more American TV than I do. They think like the outside image of America a lot of times for a lot of people, especially
Mhm.
young millennial people, is
Mhm.
black people. Like
Mhm.
black people in America, that's the number
Everybody
one
want to
thing.
be black
That's
till it's
Yeah.
time to be black.
absolutely.
Yeah, and-
Getting fades, everything.
Yeah, and if you really like, because I recently went over to Australia and I really realized like their clothes isn't like Australian clothes or like any all these out of the countries it's really literally just black culture. Like they call it American culture and they call it that this is what Americans do, but no, it's really not. It's
So
really,
did you? Because I know the answer to this.
okay.
But did you see black people in Australia?
Did you see the Aboriginals?
Yes.
Can you tell people what Aboriginals are?
Okay, so Aboriginals are pretty much people that would look very much so white, but are considered black. So what happened in Australia was basically their blackness was whitewashed out, and pretty much they were raped to the point to where all of their color was gone. So pretty much a black woman was raped over and over and over again. So her children got so light to the point to where the blackness was gone, and they look literally white. You can
Well, you
look
mean
this
over
up.
generations, right?
Over generations, yes, definitely over generations. But if you look this up, go look up Aboriginals in Australia. Iggy Azalea is actually one. So
You know
go
who's
definitely
a
look this
real
up. Yes.
original, like Aboriginal, because Aboriginal just really means the original people of that continent.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So what we're always saying is that the original people of Australia are most of these places are black. And a lot of people don't know. We got a lot of NBA stars who are actually from Australia. A lot of people don't know Kyrie
Yeah.
from over there. Like he looks just like me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Exactly
think about
like
it.
Yeah.
What age he came over here?
Huh?
How long ago he
I don't
came?
know. You know his apostles over there, but they do
Oh,
say I
okay.
look like Kyrie Irving though.
Mhm. So yeah, so pretty much that just blows my mind. It's
Yeah.
really crazy how they really took this down off of Billboard's chart just because they say that it technically ain't country enough.
That's crazy because it's crazy too because like when Miley Cyrus wanted to be black for 6 months for a year and a half, she was on our chart.
Exactly.
Okay, but
And
hold on.
she ain't getting that
Exactly.
taken down.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
So this is okay. So this is my problem when we get into that. The black people, we're so welcoming
We
of
are.
everybody else. We're like, hey, okay, Post Malone, Iggy, y'all want to come rap? Come on. And then when they get popping and then they run off, we're not rappers, we don't associate. Our problem is we'll allow everybody to feed off our culture, and we don't control and dictate what happens in the culture.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
We need to start controlling the
And
narrative.
who comes in too? Like, hey, bro, you don't represent our country. I mean, not our country, but our culture.
Yeah.
We're not rocking with you.
I feel like we don't really put too much worry on it just because it's like if Miley Cyrus come over to the hip hop world, she's not going to take off. But when we go over to the country world, we're going to take off. Lil Nas, we're going to do our thing in every single category. They're not going to come over here and do their thing in every single category like we can do.
No,
they might be there,
but what they do is they take our stuff and go
Mhm.
mainstream with it because they have
The
the image because a lot of times they want black people without having black people. You know, like they want black content, they want black style, but they don't want the actual black person.
Look at it as
so
like a
they'll
purse.
take our stuff and they'll be like, well, you can act black and you can sound black, but you look white, and so we're gonna market you, and you're more marketable to the mainstream and make more money like that. Yeah,
it's cool. What's the most popular black person right now? Latch yourself on. To them, they're looking at it more and more just like an accessory. A hat, a bag. This is a nice outfit. Let's put the package together and sell it. Because who buys rap music?
Right.
And it's what's hot right now. So also,
and we always gonna be hot.
So this is an interview that Chris Rock ended up doing with Vulture magazine, and he pretty much said that he stopped doing shows at college campuses because they are too conservative. And he says this is because they are not in their political views, but in their social views and their willingness to not offend anyone.
I'm gonna add on to that because I was watching ESPN the other day, and Jerry Seinfeld, he was on there, and he was talking about Chris Rock and how Larry Cable were both saying the same things about how they're not going to go to any more colleges anymore because they're looking for just to say prejudice and just say this is sexist, this is racist every single time they go.
Yeah, I see what they're saying now. Like people trying to use their platform to push their political platform as activists and different stuff.
All right, so now I was thinking about this, right? as far as when he's talking about college, right? Like who's in college right now? Like mostly millennials, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, newer generation.
Yeah.
And so what I think what he's really getting at, and he's right, that's something we need to look at. This new generation are too sensitive, bro. You cannot say anything. I get it. We need to correct certain behaviors because certain behaviors can be
So we
toxic.
probably have to go through that process just to get it done.
But not in comedy though, bro. Like
Not in comedy, but
nobody
out
is
of comedy,
exempt.
when you step out of comedy and you go into the real world, you got to learn how to check that. We're trying to get over racism, get over all this bullying. It's people dying over killing themselves over bullying, just over little things that you're saying, and you got to learn how to stop doing that. I understand it's a sensitive time, but you just got to get with it.
But if we're talking about PC and comedy, that's you should not be able to. My main problem with it is you should not be able to restrict anybody's creativity.
I feel you in comedy.
But you have to understand that even when you're not supposed to be able to restrict anybody's creativity, you have to understand that certain things do become offensive at a certain point. And where do you draw that line? I get that. Yeah, don't go, but you have to understand that certain stuff. I do believe that certain stuff does need to be off topic. Doesn't need to be a topic. It's because of the fact that certain stuff just has a certain level of sensitivity to it. And you have to understand when you can actually speak on something and when something isn't supposed to be spoken on because of the fact that it has a level of sensitivity to it.
I think the only thing that's off limit is children. Anything else goes. Yeah. If you book Cat Williams, do not get mad at Cat Williams for being Cat Williams. If you book Chris Rock, do not get mad at Chris Rock. You know what their MO is. You know what it is. Stop being sensitive. Grow up. The whole point of the half of their jokes is to get people to laugh and come together and actually have the conversation. It's not out of malice.
We're not having a conversation that they're putting out there.
Yeah, the thing is, we love comedians because they say the things that we cannot say. Exactly. We can't say that in the real world. But we're gonna laugh at you saying it, and that's what we pay you for, to say the shit that we can't say as human beings in the working world or in the
They bringing awareness to it too. Look at Dave Chappelle. All his jokes, some of the stuff people were mad about. They were saying some stuff was homophobic, but he was trying to get a point about the president and how certain rights and stuff. If you pay attention to it, what we do is we take little snippets, put it on the internet, and people attention span is so small, we believe that and we just run with it.
Right.
And when they're taking it out of context, they're comedians. That's their job.
Yeah, and I think that even though that it is their job and it is something that you have to think about when you're walking into the room, you're literally expecting to be able to have a good time, to be able to laugh and do all of that. But I think that when we're talking about topics and it makes people sensitive to it is because of what is going on in the world today and the connection that they have to it. So although you can't say that you're going there to laugh and you're going there to have fun and all of that, you do have to understand that there are still others that are there that really might have a sensitive touch to something that's going on. Like when you're talking about homophobia and all that. No, but when you're just being honest, when you're talking about homophobia and all of that, like that is something that's sensitive to a lot of individuals. You have to understand that certain stuff is not okay to say about them and certain stuff is. You have to understand that at least.
Yeah, but the comedians at the end of the day, you know what it is.
I call myself a comedian and not gonna say something that's just really off the charts and just that's really not even respectful at all. You're telling me that no, but okay, so you're selling tickets, but that still doesn't matter when it comes down to the fact that yes, you are selling tickets, but you are expecting money from these people, so you should be saying stuff that they feel like isn't disrespectful.
But at the same time, as a comedian isn't for everybody. So sometimes you're just not gonna like
pick and choose what content you
but as a comedian, you're gonna kind of be teetering a lot of disrespectful to some body.
Yes, but I think but not everything, you can't say that everything is a goal for. Like not everything is not a goal for, because I know a lot of black people, I know a lot of people that would not stand up for a lot of stuff that has been said for comedians. You have to understand that. And that's what's not cool.
But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, there should be no limitations to somebody's thought. Only people that should be off limit is children. There's different type of comedians. You got your social media, you got your stand-up. If you're dealing with a brand and you know what they about, then don't support them. Chick-fil-A, we already know what Chick-fil-A stance is on homophobia, but yet y'all still go every day and still eat waffle fries and drink your stuff. So no, let's not have selective outrage. Let's check. You pick and choose what you deal with.
But that's their audience. He said that he was upset because we are too conservative. But if that is your audience and that is the people that you are talking to, so then you have to understand that if they're going to feel disrespected, then you have to understand that you got to stop doing that.
But that's
your audience.
too.
Really,
That's your
but
audience.
it just makes me like, it makes me so disappointed in where comedy is going, because you look at funny shows that's been funny for years, such as Family Guy, and they making a statement of, we're not making any more gay jokes.
Right.
But I'm like, hey,
that
that was the show. That was the show. If nothing else, everybody's gonna get offended. Like,
South Park.
if nothing else, everybody, like, on Family Guy, everybody can get
But
it.
look,
Anybody can get
anybody
it. Anybody can get it.
Yeah,
And you feel bad. You even be
equal
opportunity laughing at the Jesus jokes on, like, and you feel bad. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna make sure I pray.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I laugh after this.
Remember,
But
Jesus
it's funny,
used to
and you like,
to
you're
save the
laughing,
world.
and it's okay, and it's black jokes on there. It's woman jokes, men jokes, gay jokes. It's a lot of different jokes on there. So I'm
You're
like,
right.
don't limit it and don't cut it off now, because some people feel uncomfortable. Like, we all feel uncomfortable a little bit laughing at it, because they have some stereotypical jokes
But
in
look,
there.
we're having conversation.
As long as you're not inciting violence and hatred, if you're not inciting hatred and violence, then I don't see nothing wrong with it. Now, if you're saying some bigotry, like if you're saying they need to be killed, or what's going on with
out of balance,
that's out of But if you're making a joke on like a stereotype that people have, not to incite that people are stupid or something like that, but like, come on now, like, everybody, that's what we pay comedians. That's why we pay comedians
in Atlanta, bro.
You're right, but we're saying that, yet he still specifically took college students.
And that was his fault too.
And said that we are too conservative.
And that's his fault too, because at the end of the day, let's be real. Who's in college? Let's look at the age group. That's really not his age group.
It's not.
So let's be real. They're gonna be. This is a new generation. He should have known that.
His age group still on Facebook.
No, they.
My mom on Facebook.
Hey, bro,
my mom on Facebook.
My mom on Facebook. That's crazy.
I just went, no hate to the Facebook. I'm sorry, Auntie.
Oh my God.
We talking about the auntie on
Yeah,
Facebook.
Don't be talking about Facebook now. You can't do that one. Alrighty, so on a Friday, there was a police shooting of Willie McCoy.
Tragic.
Willie McCoy was at a Taco Bell. He was sitting in his car asleep with a handgun in his lap. And there is a video where it pretty much shows the police shooting the rapper multiple times through the window while he is asleep in the Taco Bell drive-thru.
They wanted to do that. They were plotting the whole time. If you really go back and you watch the video, they're sitting. They know he's asleep. They know he has a gun on his lap. They're watching him wake up. The officer even says, "Oh, he's not fully awake yet. He's moving." Like, it's of course you're gonna grab your gun when you're sitting in the middle of nowhere. You're protecting yourself and you sleep in the car. Of course, I'm gonna put my gun on my lap and I'm gonna sit it there. When you sneak up on me, it's nothing but police lights around me. I'm not. My thing is, it's police around me. I need to watch out. Like, nobody's thinking that. Are you thinking about your safety? You see lights outside your car. You see people around your car. You gonna grab your gun.
I wouldn't even go as far as saying like the first thing to do is to grab your gun. Just waking up in general, like you just like the first thing you do is like grab whatever's in your lap, or like just like he had no time to do anything. You can tell in the tone of their voice how they were talking. Like, they knew what they were going to do.
They wanted to shoot him from
it was no way with those two police officers that he would have made it out of there alive. There's no way, unless he just woke up and had his hands up like when he woke up.
Not even that.
Like they were looking for him to move. Like, I don't even think he grabbed his gun. Like, he probably just moved his hand or something like that. But like at the same time, dude is waking up
in the middle, sitting in the car, sleeping.
What
in
do
the
you
car.
expect? Like you
like, what really blew me about this situation is like every time a black person gets murdered on camera by the police or by somebody, we continuously re-show these videos over and over on the internet. Even with the case of Nipsey Hussle had been murdered, do we not forget that these people have families? Like, nobody, like, the internet has desensitized people to the point where we're sharing videos of people being murdered. But yet, when there's other things, like when they had those cartels cutting people heads off and all of that, the internet will take that off. You cannot find an R. Kelly sex tape on the internet. It's gone. You know what I mean? But
two girls and one cup off.
They took that off. Yeah, that's a fact. But I can go on the internet right now and type in black man getting shot, and it's gonna show up all over there. And I think that's crazy.
But I have to think about also the fact that a lot of reason why social media got so hype is because it also spreaded the word, and it also got people to know about certain stuff we would not have known about otherwise, because they're not putting them on the main media outlets. So you have to think about, although it shouldn't be like these full video posting instance of it, but that's the only way we really find out about that this stuff is even happening in our world today, because they're not going to go put it on CNN. They're not going to go put it in on Fox News. They're not going to go do that. So most of the times, the only way we really hear about this stuff and really hear the true story is through social media.
But I agree. It's a double-edged sword, because a lot of times, because I've heard people say, like, before all of this racism had been happening lately, like they think racism like happened in like 2000, like right after Trayvon Martin. Like they think that's when racism really started to happen. But no, it's been happening before. We didn't have the technology to record it and post it and make it as convenient to see before. So I do appreciate the aspect of now you see what's going on.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse. You can't be oblivious to this. You see exactly what's going on. But at the same time, I started thinking of how it desensitizes people and normalizes black people being killed. Like normalize it. And I'm scared for like children, like this shit should be normal for kids. And when you look at this shit, you see something like this every day, and it's scary, because as a child this wasn't normal for me, but as like kids growing up, like my little brother, this is normal for him to go get on his phone and see a black man getting shot and killed. And it's sad, because like he was saying, people do have families, but it's like a thing also, like maybe their families want this shit to be shown, maybe their families want, but you just never know. You just never know.
My thing is, okay, we can make awareness on the internet, but do we have to post continuously and reshare somebody being shot senseless or being murdered on the internet? You do not know what effect that has on somebody's family member. It's okay to bring that type of awareness until it's your family member being the one on that camera.
No, but I'm gonna be honest. If somebody shot one of my family members, I'm like, show that shit.
Everybody need to see this, and that's me too. Honestly, like
what's going on, because that also brings support and that brings pressure. So at the court here, I wouldn't
agree with that completely, because the same thing like with London. Do you see how all the men were trying to attack Lauren London as far as I know Nick is gone now, you should come get with me. It's like certain things that you give a leeway. I understand, but some people might in that type of situation, that's a sensitive situation. Your husband just died, the father of your kids and everything.
Not only that, they got her running into the hospital.
That's too much.
Bring awareness without doing. People are trolls. Let's be real. People are not doing this. How the time?
So isn't that just getting them more ammo when you release videos and stuff like that out?
Of course. That's what anything now. And in social media, we're gonna have to accept that trolls are a way of life now. It's a new thing. Attention is a hell of a drug. That shit is the strongest crack cocaine. I promise you. Attention is a hell of a drug. So at this point, I just accept that there's gonna be those people that just want clickbait. They want retweets and they want attention. So I'm kind of, it's sad. I'm kind of desensitized to the trolls. I know it's gonna be people trolling just to say shit, just to say it, just because they want to be funny in the moment. So you can't always put so much weight on that, because that's the social media climate we live in. Like, this is the way of life now, and you're gonna have people like that.
And then you also have to think about, like, okay, this guy was shot in his car 25 times by a police officer.
Exactly. You wouldn't believe it if you ain't see it.
You would not believe that this boy. And then you have to think about, like, when this was a 30-minute video, y'all. A 30-minute video where they sat there just talking and contemplating what they were going to do about the situation the whole time. And I think that puts a lot of validity to the situation, because you have to think about the fact that they sat there for 30 minutes and then decided once he moved, whatever movement that he made, they figured they really was okay with the fact of shooting this dude 25 times. 25 times.
And this is not the first time that
you're right.
The situation a few years ago with old boy in New York, when he was leaving the club, they shot his car up 50-some times with him in there. Like, now they're desensitized to the point where they know they can get away with it to shoot his Bentley.
And the sad part is, I don't even think they're gonna get charges pressed on them, because this happened so many times.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. With you guys being black males, and with this being a topic that we're talking about right now, does that change the way you walk around and the way you see police officers, and how?
I have an interesting perspective, because my mom was a police officer for 8 years. She retired probably about as soon as I got to college. So probably like 2.5, 3 years ago. And my stepdad is currently still a police officer, but I think he's about to retire soon. But like I've seen both sides of it, and I think if my parents hadn't been police officers and I didn't have their influence in my life, I would think all police officers are trash. But I actually see people who aren't trying to meet quotas and aren't just trying to arrest people just because they're having a bad day, and people that really take the time to not just throw little black kids away. And, like my mom tells me, has so many stories about like different like kids and stuff. You see that people would just lock up for no reason. Instead, if you just talk to them and like sit, like my mom told me she sat down with like young girls and stuff, be like, why are you doing this? Like just really pick their brain and talk to them. So I know people who take the time out and really do their job how they're supposed to. So it's like say like the whole thing, like it's gonna be a few bad apples. Well, it's a way more bad, like it's a few good apples. It's a few good apples in there. So I never generalize all police officers just because, and I think that's just personal for me because I literally have people in my life that like my parents that's been police officers. So I know everybody ain't bad.
I wouldn't say perspective is totally different. Go ahead, because I
wouldn't say that my whole aspect around cops is just like all of them are bad, but I feel like majority of them are bad. Just like in my own opinion, this is what I went through in my life. I've been beaten by a cop before, and I've been followed by a cop for at least 3 miles. I got all the way to my house. I'm at the front door, and now you're finally turning your lights on. You feel me? So I've seen a lot of bad things, and I just feel like they're gonna keep getting away with these little things they're doing. You feel me? I really feel like we need something that's stronger for them to go through. I don't know what it is, what we could put them through. I don't know what the criteria needs to be for you to be a cop, but we have to change it. We need to do something different.
I've been thinking about something lately. I saw a video a few months ago, and somebody was saying, how about we start pushing our young black kids? Like if you know that school isn't for you, maybe if we have more black police officers in our communities, then I feel like wouldn't that change? I feel like it would. You would still have some people who, because of the system, is bad, but you still have police officers have autonomy in their job. We can't take that away. So if you get more people in our community to deal with these young kids, you will have more. I feel like it'll definitely decrease what's going on. Like I don't know. I feel those people present.
Go ahead.
I do.
I honestly, like I don't. So my thing is coming from like the inner city. I've been beat by the police. I've been harassed. We used to have a car that used to come through our neighborhood on Flat Hills. Every time he came in, we literally used to have to put our hands on the car, go through it. So I've been harassed all my life by police officers, right? And the unique thing is, if you live in Atlanta, most of the police officers are black. So it's not a racism thing. It's more so of a classism thing, but it's a system that's the problem. And so your parents, exactly. I mean, congratulations, I think that's dope and awesome. However, trying to integrate in the system that's not for you is not going to change anything. Because
I feel like that's the first step to trying to change it.
You don't think your mother and your father were the first people to come up with that idea? You don't think I think we could possibly, that's why I said we need to get guns. We can learn how to protect ourselves and patrol our own neighborhood. We do it now in Atlanta. If you're familiar with the 10,000 Fearless in the Bluff, we patrol the neighborhood.
But then that puts you in jail.
No, it does not. We do it all the time. We've been doing it for 3 years.
I think you've been doing it, but you say that it's your legal right, but I think that's the thing that what you're saying is like, okay, you can patrol yourself and everything, but once it gets to a point where cops can literally take what you're doing, what you say is okay, and it might be fine, but when they take that gun, put that gun in reason of letting that gun be the reason as to why it can put you in jail, which happens a lot.
I'm black. I'm already without it. I'm damn if I do. I'm damn if I don't.
Okay, so if they do it without it, so then what you're saying is that would you rather have a black police officer than a white police officer pull you over?
I'd rather not have a system.
I'm gonna be honest. If I see a black police officer
pull me over,
I'll be like, I'm like, okay, we got something I can work with.
And my experience living in the inner city, black cops have usually been the worst ones. So this is Atlanta, so I don't care if you're black or you're white, you're Hispanic, you got a badge on.
But don't generalize that. Don't generalize that. Because you're generalizing right now.
What did I? No, I did not. I said this. I said I do not judge cops individually on their character. I said,
okay.
Boom. However, overall, the system is corrupted. So no, I'm going to address you.
The system itself.
Yes.
But
so when I'm dealing with
about an individual, we're talking about changing the individuals that are the ones being put putting the kids in jail, the ones
But
putting the black people in jail,
they're
the ones.
not gonna change it.
So you need to change the
But you
criteria that the
okay. So what do you? Why do you say that that's not going to be changed
We've
as
been
a black
doing- you
person
know-
that's in? Why do you say that though?
Because Atlanta is predominantly black cops already, and they're already still in our ass, and we still going through the same
But-
situation.
But look,
It does
you
not
can
matter
say-
about the color.
No, here's that is definitely facts. But even if, and I know you can contest to this, when you think of like black cops, well, cops in Atlanta versus say cops in Carrollton, having black cops still bad, but it's a whole different thing. They're not messing with us as much as Carrollton.
It's ridiculous.
I went to Carrollton my first time going to University of West Georgia. On my way to my friend's apartment, I literally I will never forget this. I saw four black men arrested on my way getting off the exit to in like I would say maybe like a 7-minute time span. Yeah. Like doors open, handcuffs on the side of the road on the curb, sitting down. Like my friends have literally told me I was walking with my book bag and like thank God all I had was I had a charger, but they made all of us sit down on the curb, checked all of our bags, they questioned us and interrogated us. I feel like you don't get that. You don't get that. I know, but I feel like you don't get that as much in Atlanta. I'm not saying I'm still not saying that is right. But I'm saying when I see the difference between when it's more black cops and when it's more white cops. I would trust if it's more black cops.
I've seen a lot of black cops. Like it's a lot of black people that get that power and they don't want to help anybody else.
And that is true.
They just want to stay up there. They're like, I made it. I'm good.
This is an elitist city, man. Where and that could be another conversation we can have another time where we talk about the talented temp and all of that. Because this is a perfect example of a city that represents a talented temp. But growing up in the inner city, living in the land, living in College Park, living in these communities, going to these places, I'm not caring about no lesser evil. What's wrong is wrong. You know what I mean? And I've seen in the city where we could patrol our own communities and we've done it. And the Black Panther Party were the first people that laid that blueprint, and people are doing it today. I just think when we do it, we get considered we get looked at as dangerous and everything else. But when you got white militias right now patrolling the borders, that's their legal right to do that. So is it not my legal right to protect my women, protect my children, and protect the people that's in my community?
I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. Not saying
I know. She was just saying like we shouldn't. I mean, I get what she's saying. Like, oh, it may tie into that, but I feel more comfortable with us being properly trained and stuff like that. But
why can't my thing is it'd be better if we do both. That's all.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. So, yeah, we could.
Alrighty, so yeah, well, we obviously got a lot to talk about this, so we just gonna move on to the next topic. So apparently, Georgia has now passed a law where abortions are banned after 6 weeks of conception.
It used to be 20 weeks though, right?
Yeah, it definitely used to be 20 weeks. And this, just to put a little tad bit in there, a little note in there for you guys, this will be the strictest abortion law in the entire country. And pretty much this will be a thing where it will be banned for you to get an abortion before some women even know that they are pregnant. So what y'all think about that?
I do feel like it's kind of a problem that we moved it down to 6 weeks. But at the same time, I feel like 20 weeks is way too much. I feel like you should decide on if you want to have your child by then or not. But at the same time, I'm not having a child and I'm not in their head. So I really can't put a time limit on what it takes you to finally settle down and be like, all right, I don't want to have this child or I don't want to have this child. But I feel like 6 weeks is a way too low because a lot of people don't find out until like 4 weeks.
And definitely, I think that it's definitely way too low. But I think that it's all just a tactic to be able to ban abortions, like in general. Like I think that's just their way of just being able to make that legal, the way to ban that. So I think that that's what that is. I don't think that it's a thing where they really even care about the 6 week thing. They just, I really feel like it's just a way to ban it and the whole abortion in general. It is not to limit it by the week thing. I think because if you think about it, 6 weeks. You're not even able to know about conception until after 2 weeks. So
this is a great example of though why it is important to go and vote on local levels and state levels, because what the Republicans have always been good at, and you have to respect it, is they know how to make votes go out and exercise their rights to get it. They've been trying to reverse Wade for years. what? We can't do it on the federal level. However, we can control what happens in our state, and we they're within their legal rights to do what they have done. If we were, that's how we had to be when we're voting for rights. That's why I say, like, even with the police stuff, we got to be careful. We got to vote for laws that's going to help benefit us. And if we were voting and we was aware and we was politically inclined to paying attention, we could have avoided this.
Yeah, we definitely could have, because we definitely need to understand how important our vote is and how important that actually does change what we want to be changed. You have to think about that. Like, although I'm pretty sure that most of us probably didn't even know that this was happening and that they were changing this law.
They move in silence now.
Yeah,
that's
they
one
move.
thing about it. One thing about it, they definitely move in silence.
And the governor is really behind the movement too. The governor,
because that's a Republican traditional value.
It definitely is, and not to say that I'm not saying that I'm on any side of it, but I just do believe that that should have been a choice that the people should have voted on. That should have been something that the people should have definitely voted. Somebody voted, but it definitely wasn't us. But it should have been something that we should have been involved in. It should have been something that was all over social media. It should have been something that was known, because if we don't know that they're trying to change these major aspects of our lives, and how do we make a change?
And my big thing is, it wasn't. I'm guaranteeing that it wasn't mostly women who voted for this. And my thing is, like, you're controlling what a woman can do with her body. As a man, you never have to make that decision right there. You never have to make that. You contribute to the conversation, but you never have to make that decision. So the thing of, like, it's all these, like, white males who petitioning for this, and they so gung-ho on this, and you're not the one carrying the child. How are you making this decision on another woman?
White males.
It's not. But those are the ones a lot of times who's voting Republican.
It's not just white males.
It's wrong to generalize. But I'm saying in the aspect of voting for Republican wise, those are the people who are.
And Black Southern men,
and when I see
on it too, the same way.
But what I'm seeing a lot of times is when people are talking about it, is usually white males who's talking about the abortion thing. Even when I've seen people protest, like, and being in Georgia State, you see protests all the time. I saw a bunch of white males saying, like, having their sons walking through campus and stuff like that. But I'm like, you're not the one. Like, I could see if women were coming together and saying this, then that's y'all have that's,
and there probably were, you know what I'm saying? Like, there probably are multiple women out here that are saying no. But I think that I'm not saying that it's pro-abortion or anti-abortion. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I'm pro-choice. And that's the thing. Like, it's up to you what you want to do with your body. It's up to you how that happens. And I think that it's for you to make something illegal, like, that brings it to a whole different level, because you're pretty much saying that unless you find out between 4 weeks and 6 weeks, then you're just not able to have
They're calling it the fetal heartbeat bill.
Yeah.
So
basically when the baby has a heartbeat.
The fetus finally gets the heartbeat.
Yeah, you have to think about that too. Yes, because you have to think about that too, that they also are looking at it as a life, and what it has in a way to make it illegal to kill a baby.
So I
understand that. And I understand that. What's devil advocate? Tell me.
So let's be realistic. There's more, and I could pull the stats up. There's more, like, if we're gonna speak in the Black diaspora, there's more Black babies aborted every year than there's born. We have been in this country over 500 some years, and our population has not grown or increased no more between 12 to 14%. White males and the white population, that's one reason they're pushing this, is a proven fact. White women are minorities and they're not producing enough children. So who's to say that maybe if we had more numbers, we would have more strength? We have more power.
But you also you can't just increase the numbers. You have to increase the resources.
Hold on, I'm about to finish that. Well, it's not that we don't have
number with the same resources. There's some problems.
So we have the resources. It's just about how it's allocated. That comes down to you voting, you getting involved. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here. If we have, because look at the Hispanic population. The Hispanic population, if you go to LA, they're taking over LA.
I love Hispanics, bro.
I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying it in no negative context, but in a few years, they're going to be the majority in this country. Because of what? Population. Who has the most numbers and who occupies the most land has the power. We have we can vote and everything, and we'll have political power. However, we don't always have the numbers. And that's what happens. That's why people try to get us for the numbers and the votes, because their demographic, they're going to vote for them regardless. We're the edge cutter. But if we have more numbers, we wouldn't have to depend on nobody else's system.
Right.
So now, only time I think abortion should be illegal is if, I mean, not illegal, like where a woman should really get one, like if it's her choice off rip, right? If she wants the choice, cool. But if somebody's raped or if it's like a medical issue,
I think that's already in place.
Because that's already probably in place. It has to be.
Well, Republicans argue and people have ran on the campaign. They do not care about that. It is a life. You should still take care of it, and that's a Christian value.
Well, See, but here's where it is. Like, I think that, you definitely have to think about the life that you are pretty much killing. But it's also the thing where I strongly believe that if there's a woman that does not want to have a child truly in her heart, she does not need to have that child, because that child will be missing a really key aspect in their life that they will need. And that's my thing. Like, I've seen, you have to understand that when you put kids in a situation that's already dysfunctional, that really does a lot to that child, especially at a young age. So my thing is, if you know in your heart that you don't want to have a child, it should not be illegal for you to go do that just because of the fact that you're putting a child in a really bad situation. To me, like, that I just wouldn't, I can't see that for a mom to not want her child. That says a lot. No, but listen to what I'm saying. Like, for a mom to not want a child itself, that says a lot, because one of the most important things that'll make a woman happy in this world is her child. So for you to not want that child, that says a lot in the first place. So you need to go ahead and do what you got to do, because you should not be putting your child into a situation to where he's going to have to grow up he or she has to grow up without that key aspect in their life.
I think the thing with me was I started understanding how important like a life is, how important a baby is. So it's not something that's like this little thing. Like, I think more about the baby's life and the quality of life. If you know you don't have a support system for this child, if you know you don't have a support system, not just financially, but like otherwise, or vice versa. Like, if you feel in your heart that you can do it, I can raise this child and I can make sure this child has everything they need, then by all means. But if you feel like, hey, I don't know how the hell I'm going to support a child, I can barely support myself. If that's your reality, and especially if you don't have, some people have different situations. If you don't have the support of the baby father, or you don't have the support of like key people in your life that you need to have the support of, then I feel like that should be a decision you can make.
But if you know these things and you know you ain't about that
Why
life,
why are you having sex?
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say that. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, don't put yourself in this situation.
We could say that till our face turn blue, but that's not.
But that's not reality. Because people are.
Well, and then too, I look at it like a lot of these resources and a lot of these clinicals, that money. Guess who's paying for a lot of that stuff? We are. If you have a job and you look at all the little alphabets on your little pay stub, and you already single, you in college, you're getting your check, you ain't making that many hours, and they already taking stuff from you, and then I have to pay for somebody who wants to live their life carelessly and do whatever they want to do and get 7-8 abortions. I'm not cool with having to pay for stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying.
I definitely like it should. I definitely think that it definitely gets ridiculous at some point. And I'm not saying that these babies' lives don't matter, because I guarantee you that there's no way what I mean. I'm just saying that I just don't. I definitely believe that a child definitely needs love, needs care, needs all of these different things in order to develop and to be a really stand-up person in the community. So I feel that when you are pretty much saying taking that away from a child, you're pretty much putting them at a disadvantage themselves. So that's my whole thing about it, is I'm just thinking about it when a child grows up and becomes an adult and becomes a citizen of the society. Like, you want a person that's in the society that's actually helping it move on to be greater and to be better things, not really someone that's not someone that has came in and not someone that has came in and literally has to deal with all these other cards that they've been dealt in their life that they didn't even have to deal with because of the fact that their mom did not want them in the first place.
And then my thing is, you're gonna end up paying for it eventually. Like, if especially if you're in a case scenario where the parent doesn't want to have a child, like, and they're not motivated to you're gonna pay for that eventually, whether it's
still gonna pay for it in some kind of way.
In some kind of way, in some kind of capacity, especially if that child is not supported in the right way, you're gonna end up paying for that eventually. Like,
I'm not paying for nobody kids.
But it's still through
taxes.
Yeah, through taxes.
Some people may pay, but the majority won't. But some people do make it through. Like some people can come up.
No, that's
Yeah,
what you don't know what that
Not to say
child
that you
gonna
gotta
be.
Superheroes coming up,
and that's why I never take it down to a financial thing. It's not always financial. Of like if you don't got the money, if you feel like, hey, I can support this child, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna bust my ass and make sure all their needs. Yeah, and my mom did it. It wasn't no goddamn cakewalk when she found out she was pregnant with me. It wasn't no cakewalk.
But she knew. But if
somebody doesn't, but if somebody feel in their heart they can't do that shit, then
she
don't
knew
do
she
that,
could.
'cause
She
that
said
shit is
there's
hard.
nothing.
Have
She
you ever
probably
felt in your heart you wasn't gonna graduate or you couldn't do certain things?
No.
But you sucked it up and did it.
No, I never doubted myself. I never doubted myself with graduation. There's a lot of things I graduate, but you got that comes back to knowing the severity of what you're doing. That is a very important thing. Bringing
More
a life
reasons not to
is
be
very
screwing out here and you can't handle
and that's the before part. But when you at that point, when you do have a child, you have to bring it down to the thing of like, can you really support this child? Like not only financially, but like mentally, like you have to.
You're doing grown up stuff, man.
It is a certain place you need to be in your life mentally before you have a child.
And then you also
and
have
not
to
say
think
that
about,
you can't grow along the process, but you have to at least be willing to do the work.
To do that,
because having a child sets your life back like 10 years.
Yeah, because it's not to say that you got to be this perfect person when you have a child, but be willing to put the work
be
in.
optimistic. I will never say a child will set somebody back, but it can definitely be something optimistic and motivate you. Because I know
it can, but more than likely.
We don't know.
But you can say that.
It comes down to the individual. What works for you, and what works for you is totally different. At the end of the day, it all comes down about knowing who you are as a person and what you can handle. I only do what I know I can handle.
Right.
You know
exactly. And I just think that the decision just should not be taken away from you. That's really what it comes down to. It is that the decision is getting taken away from women, and that's the problem. The problem is that there is no choice at this point. You're basically saying that no, you just can't have one unless you find out before 6 weeks. So that's just letting y'all know this, putting y'all in on some tea. You can't have an abortion after 6 weeks in Georgia. 6 weeks in Georgia. So just to move on. We are coming up on the end of our show, and we're going to come up on this day. So on this day, April 6th, 1917, the U.S. declared war on Germany and enters World War I. And last year on April 6th, Cardi B came out with Invasion of Privacy, her first album ever to be released. Shout out Cardi B, man. And also at the end of our shows, we are now going to do a viewer's pick. So we will be posting on our Instagram different topics where y'all can be able to let us know what y'all want us to talk about, what y'all want us to cover.
What y'all want us to talk about. We need to get a little interaction.
So stay tuned to our Instagram, which is at the Vill ATL. Once again, at the Vill ATL. And this is your girl Jada signing off. My IG is at the real Jada Dean.
Hey, this your boy One Tay. My IG is _1 TAE_.
It's your boy Thomas. Y'all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Thomas_Jones IB.
Joaquin Ali, Instagram Prince_Ali.
And we are the Vill. See you next week. Peace. They shared here. Yeah, I shared this here.